This is the coldest, windiest, and driest place on Earth. A frozen continent covered by a sheet of ice more than a mile thick. Here, the forces of nature carve a sprawling mural of desolate landscapes. A barren frontier where life or death struggles for survival can be triggered in an instant by our planet's most severe weather. On a winter day, temperatures can plunge below -60 degrees Fahrenheit, while hurricane-force winds exceed 100 miles an hour. Yet, despite the trials of climate and geography, a fascinating variety of animal species make the South Pole their home. The most celebrated of these residents are the estimated 12 million penguins that reside on or near this kingdom of ice. 7 different species have been identified, including adelies, rockhoppers, gentoos, kings, macaronis, chinstraps, and emperors. The birds that reign as the symbol of Antarctica, and icons of the biological design and purpose that fill the living world. Compared to their neighbors, emperors are giants, standing 3.5 to 4 feet tall and weighing up to 100 pounds. They are the only species that live here year-round. There are approximately 600,000 emperor adults, and each is part of one of the dozens of colonies that line the perimeter of the continent. Every bird is well equipped to face a barrage of challenges throughout its 20-year life cycle, including brutal winters that can last from March to late August. Below its skin, the emperor's body is covered with an insulating layer of tissue called blubber. More than an inch thick, this thermal barrier of specialized fat protects the internal organs and torso by minimizing the escape of heat. The blubber layer is covered by an estimated 160,000 individual feathers, and each is a component in a flexible outer shield that's also engineered to help retain warmth. 20 to 30,000 contour feathers are organized into a waterproof mosaic that forms the emperor's distinctive colors and patterns. The birds often spend 3 hours daily coating the tips of these feathers with a liquid sealant collected from a gland in their tails. And packed tightly beneath and between the contours, more than 100,000 plumule feathers form a lightweight, dense blanket of down that traps and retains the penguin's body heat, just like a well-made ski jacket. But the emperor's defense against fierce winds and cold only begins with its superb individual biology. In recent years, scientists have studied a cooperative behavior that also plays a key role. It's known as social thermoregulation, or huddling. On sub-zero afternoons, males not only battle the elements to protect their own lives, they must also safeguard their next generation that they carry and incubate on their feet. So to conserve energy and elevate their body temperatures, the birds gather together into huddles. A huddle begins when individual penguins congregate on flat, open expanses of ice. Their arrangement is critical, for to endure the punishing conditions, both their individual positions and mass organization must be precise. If the penguins are spaced too loosely, they risk freezing to death. But if they're packed in too tight, the essential motion required within the huddle will stall, preventing birds on the outer perimeter from adequately warming up. This time-lapse footage accelerates the action as the emperors align, one after the other. They're spaced close enough together to successfully share their body heat, but loose enough to shuffle forward simultaneously 2 to 4 inches at a time. Their small, synchronized steps create waves of motion that roll throughout the massive assembly and ensure that no penguin stays too long on the huddle's freezing periphery. Instead, each bird cycles its way into the huddle's center to absorb several precious minutes of warmth. Throughout this process, individual penguins seldom change their positions or force their way into or out of the huddle. How effective is this strategy? Well, in the center of the formation, where every bird spends enough time to sufficiently warm up, temperatures can rise to a scorching 96 degrees above zero. Huddling is not a skill that's developed gradually over time. Instead, it is one of many behaviors that emperor penguins perform instinctively. Instinct refers to any natural inborn behavior that is not intentionally taught or learned. And at the South Pole, other examples include the bird's ability to hold their breath and dive hundreds of feet into frigid waters, as they gracefully propel their streamlined bodies with powerful wings that serve as flippers. Then, after consuming a seafood buffet, they launch themselves out of another hole in the ice and land safely with a spectacular flourish on a frozen runway. Later, again driven by instinct, adults share previously digested food with their hungry chicks, and then surround and shield the young birds as an act of protection against predators. Such natural behaviors could never result from random genetic mutations or accidents. Instead, they are life skills endowed through the foresight, purpose, and plan of a creative agent. A supernatural designer who reveals his presence through the life cycles of organisms that inhabit even the most remote corners of our living planet.